Welcome guys. In this tutorial or video, what we're going to do is we're going to explore more commands that are used for file manipulation and copying, renaming, and stuff like that. But before I do that, I want to apologize because in the previous video, what happened was the computer was using the internal microphone that was built to the computer rather than using this microphone right here. So as a result, I think there was a lot of noise in the background and so it made you guys hard to hear my voice, whatever. So I would first of all like to apologize for that. I didn't know that. I didn't check the settings before. So, anyways, but in this video and the following video, it should use the microphone that I'm currently connected to. Anyways, let's get started. Um, so this video is going to be slightly different in the sense that I'm not going to open a terminal, but instead I'm going to use a PDF. And in fact, I took most of the examples from this PDF that I found online. It's completely free. I will put the links in the description or on the right side or whatever. And it's completely free book, and you can download it legally. Legally, the authors have made it public under the Creative Commons license, so you guys can download it freely. And I think it's a really well written book. And let's get started. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to explore commands like copy and rename and stuff like that. So this is the PDF, and you can find this in this website right here. It's called the Linux command line, and it says here that released under the Creative Commons license. It's available for free, and you can download it in the PDF format. So you guys should probably download it. In fact, like I said, I'm using some of the examples from the book here because it's a really well-written book. So let's move on. So the commands, the reason that I didn't use the terminal for this video is that you got to create a lot of files to demonstrate whatever's happening. So I thought it was easier to just explain what the PDF says so that you guys have an idea of what's going on. So the commands that we're going to explore are copy, move, make directory, remove, and then I'm going to save the links for the next video. But anyways, so CP stands for copying. It's used for copying, and moving is for moving or also renaming files, and make directories for making creating new directories, and removing is, like I said, removing new directories. So before we get started, though, let's explore a really important concept known as patterns or regular expressions or wildcards, whatever. There's different terms used for this. First of all, you can copy, move, and stuff like it, use all these commands in a graphical manager, but with the command line manager, it makes it really powerful because what you can do is you can specify this regular expression or wildcards or patterns, and the command line the shell would execute that, and it's really a much more powerful tool. For instance, if I want to copy, say, in a given folder, if I wanted to copy all the files starting with the letter A or starting with the letter Z, right? In a graphical user interface, what you have to do is you have to manually look at all the files starting with A or Z. You have to sort it first, and then a lot more tedious, right? But in a command line interface, it's a lot faster. You can just do it like that. So the real power with the command line interface is with the regular expressions or wildcards. You can integrate that with these commands like copy, move, and we'll explore how to do that. Before that, we'll explore more on what exactly a regular expression or wildcard is and how you can use that in the command. So let's just start there. So wildcards are regular expressions, right? So you have to know that what a star stands for is a special symbol, and it says if it matches any characters. So basically one or more characters, and then the question mark is matches any single character. And we'll demonstrate how this is used later on. But and these are characters, and you can specify also class in the commands, and the class is nothing but right here. So a class can be all the letters or only the digits, only the alphabets, stuff like that. So let's just demonstrate because I know it's kind of hard to just look at that and make sense of it. So let's take an example here. So if you say, for example, remove, actually let me open terminal. If you say copy and then star, or sorry, remove and then star, for example, right? What it does is it removes all the files. So what the star is saying here is all files, right? And that's what we saw early on. We said that star matches any characters, so it's saying remove all the files in the given directory, right? Say you want to move certain particular files would start with G, start with the letter G. Now again, like I mentioned, a graphic user interface is kind of hard to do that, but in a command line interface you can do it really quickly and really easily if you understand what these expressions mean. So this expression right here is saying the file name starts with a G and it can be followed by any number of characters, one or more characters, right? And same idea here. The file starts with B and it can be followed by any number of characters. Okay, so here are other examples. For example, this here, right here, it's using another asterisk and it's using the class here, right? What it's saying here is any file that begins with the uppercase letter, because upper is a class, and followed by any number of characters, pick those files and give it to me, right? And same idea here with the question mark here, but the question mark says a single character, right? So it's saying given a file that has exactly 3 characters, it could be any like A, Y, or numbers, whatever, but data followed by exactly 3 characters. Good. Okay. So let's explore more on this now. So just keep that in mind. So we can use them later, right? So the first command that we can introduce to you guys is called make directory, and make directory can be used in 2 ways, right? One way is when you're making directory, you can just specify a single name of directory, or it can also be used for making multiple directories at once, right? So so you can do make directory 1, directory 2, all the way to the directory n, right? So it's a really useful tool to have. So make directory basically creates directory in the present working directory. So if I'm at home directory, if I do make directory, it's going to create it there, right? Okay, good. And the next command is copy. It can be used in the following 2 ways, right? So if there's an item 1 and item 2, where item 1 and item 2 are files, right? Or directories. What it's going to do is it's going to copy the item 1 into item 2, right? And alternatively, what you can use is you can use a second syntax. What it does is it copies multiple files into a single directories, right? Multiple items meaning that it could be multiple files or multiple directories into a single directory. So it's what it's saying here is copy the multiple items into a single directory. Good. So far we explored make directory and copy, right? So next let's move on to the options. And if you remember, notice in previous video we talked about how there's the short option and there's a long option that's provided by the shell, right? So the short option is just a single letter in most cases, and the long one is where you use double dash and you specify type in the full word. And this is useful if you want to really understand what's going on, like if the user wants to understand all the options. It's more descriptive, in other words. So if the user likes the command to be more descriptive, he can use this following the long format and basically, help him understand, right? So that's the idea, right? So -a.archive, it copies all the files, and then -i is another important one. What it does is, while it's copying the files, it says if it's interactive, meaning that it's going to prompt for you to override it if it's already there. But if you don't specify the option, it silently overrides. It overrides by default. So that's the idea. -r is another really important option, which you're probably going to use a lot. And it's saying it's recursively meaning that it calls itself and deals with the directory within itself, right? And then -v, it's not that common, but use it a lot with the zip files. The tar one, we'll explore that later on. But this is the idea. That's the basic idea. So here's a few examples. If you copy file 1 to file 2, it will copy the file 1 to file 2. And -i, as we saw earlier, is an interactive one, so it prompts the user if it's overriding it, right? And notice here the wildcards or regular expression that I mentioned earlier. So in this case, what it's saying is that copy all the given files in directory 1 into directory 2. So this star, if you remember, means like all the characters, right? So it's saying copy directory 1, all the files given in directory 2. And you can use this with anything. Say you want to copy all the files starting with the digit, into the files, those particular files or directories into directory 2. You can do that with wildcards, and this is a really powerful tool, right? And you can also do recursion, recursively copy directory 1 to directory 2, which will copy the entire contents of directory 1 into directory 2, because it recursively goes into each directory and each file and copies that into directory 2. Good. Okay. So we have two more commands left in this video. We're going to explore the move command and also the remove command, right? So move can be used in the following two ways. It can be used to actually move the files or directories. It can also be used to rename the given name of the given file or directory. So what I mean by that is, if you do move item 1 to item 2, it can rename or move. It can be used to rename a file, right? But on the other hand, if you do move item, say you want to move multiple items into a directory, you can do that too, and it actually moves. So think of it like cut and paste rather than copy and paste. If you want to do copy and paste, we can use CP, and move I think you can use it's equivalent to cut and paste. If I'm not right, I might be wrong on that, but yeah. Anyways, and the same given set of options is provided. It's pretty much like copy, so it has interactive option, the verbose option, stuff like that. So here's a few examples. So move file 1, file 2, and it basically moves the file 1 to file 2 and also renames it. Dash I, same as idea with copy. What it does, it prompts the user if it's overriding it, right? And then in this case, there's another syntax, the second syntax I showed you. What it does is it moves multiple files into a single directory, right? And yeah, and the last one is pretty trivial too. So yeah, and the last one is the remove one, and this is a really important command, and it's a really important command because you can easily mess up. Because the idea is that once you remove using the remove command, once you remove a file from the system, it's really hard to get that file back in the Linux environment. So you have to be really careful while using this command. Having said that, it's also really used often because it's an important command, basically. So the syntax for that is just remove name of the item, right? And the item can be directories, one or more files, stuff like that. And so it has the same given set of options: interactive, recursive, force. By the way, if you want to figure out what the options are without looking at this PDF, for example, you can just do man. The command is known as man. Man stands for manual pages, or man pages for short, right? So there's some manual pages that are inbuilt into the Linux environment. So what you can do is if you want to know more about the command man ls, this gives you a set of options here. So notice here, -a or all, so it gives you the short options and long options, right? So you can browse through this, and the same idea, like I mentioned in the previous video, less, the keyboard shortcuts for less, like spacebar, is used to move one page at a time. Up and down arrows are used to move one line at a time. The B key or page up key is used to move one page at a time up the screen, right? So same idea here. I think man is also a pager per se. Good. Okay. So that's the basic idea. And you can remove files, but like I said, you have to be very careful. Here are a few examples, right? So you can remove file 1, right? And there's also I, which is an interactive one, and there's also a remove. There's also remove recursive F, right? What this does is recursively removes the given file in the directory, right? And that F stands for force. So if you want to remove a particular file or directory, you can recurse into it and remove all the contents or a particular file in that directory. So that's pretty much it. It's a really useful command, but it's really useful to mess up, like it says here. You guys can read about this in the I'll post a link in the description, and it's freely available legally, so you don't have to worry about it. But that's the idea. Hope this video helped, and thanks for watching. And yeah, stick around.